Hello and welcome to another one of Mr. Keelan's amazing flip learning lessons. This time we're going to talk about the Second Amendment, one of the more controversial amendments of the Bill of Rights that has many modern applications in the world today. Let's look at our objectives for the lesson. First, by the end of this, I hope that you'll be able to explain what a militia is. If you were in my class in 7th grade, you better be able to explain what a militia is, but also to explain what are some of the modern applications of militias. Secondly, I want you to be able to explain why the Second Amendment really is a deep reflection of the concerns that our founders had after the Revolution and their struggles with the British. Similarly, why is the right to bear arms considered really pivotal in the defense against tyranny and oppression? Last but not least, being a controversial amendment, why are there so many different interpretations to this amendment? Well, if we're going to be talking about it, we should really read through what it says. The Second Amendment reads, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." Here we see the jaunty militiaman getting ready to fight the British. But what does this really mean? The right to bear arms. Does it mean that we have the right to bear arms? Ha 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 ha. Bear arms. Get it? He's got bare arms. It's a pun. You knew I was going to throw one in. Anyway, no. The Second Amendment has nothing to do with actual grizzly arms. It has the right. It has to do with our right to form militias, armies of citizens, regular everyday citizens who serve as an emergency armed force. And also to be able to be an effective armed force, we have the right to bear firearms, to own firearms, or own a gun to be able to defend ourselves. Why does this reflect concerns from the colonial period and the Revolution? Well, think about it. We had to fight a war against our own government to win our independence. The first major battle of the American Revolution, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, why did it start? The British Army was coming to seize the American colonists' guns. They saw that having guns, having firearms was a means that they could defend and protect themselves from oppression from their own government. Moreover, being a frontier society, back then, most people needed firearms to be able to hunt, to be able to live, and also to protect themselves. There was no 911 in 1776. If there was a threat to you, your family, and your home, you were the first defense. So to that end, you needed to be able to own a firearm to be able to defend yourselves. Now, many common everyday citizens served as an emergency army against the British and against other possible threats. These emergency armies are called militias. Now, today, the National Guard is each state's militia. A governor of each state can call regular everyday citizens who volunteer to be trained, who volunteer a weekend a month for extra training, but after that, they go about their normal everyday lives. They're lawyers, garbage men, construction workers, even teachers, and at a time of emergency, they are called to service. Many of you who were evacuated by soldiers during Hurricane Sandy were evacuated by members of the National Guard. A week before, they might have been cleaning someone's teeth or helping build somebody's house. Now, we often hear the argument that not only did the right to bear arms was important then as a frontier society, but it's overall supposed to be an ongoing protection that if our government becomes tyrannical, that if our government becomes oppressive, we, the people, have to be the defense against that. Now, going back to the ideas of the Declaration of Independence, government exists to protect our rights. If the government is destructive to our rights, we have the right to get rid of the government. Well, government that's tyrannical is not going to go peacefully. It's no surprise that if we look in dictatorships in history, one of the first things that they go after is the people's right to be able to arm and defend themselves. But that being said, the meaning of this amendment is contested. Does it mean that any form of arms I can own? Can I own a bazooka or a rocket launcher, machine gun? Well, these are all types of weapons that are heavily regulated. Some people argue that it should apply to ones that are used in committing many crimes, like handguns, whereas others say no. The words mean shall not be infringed. That the right for you to be able to defend and protect yourself, that no law can ever be passed that restricts any form of weapon. Now, to that end, let's look at our first essential question. Since the meaning of the Second Amendment is a frequent topic of debate in the United States today, and yes, when we have our current issues ideology debate, we will be debating it. Looking forward to that. This one of the big problems with this is that so many people read the words of the First Amendment and read different things. Some argue that the law protects only government-run militias' right to own firearms. The National Guard. Some could even argue that the law enforcement, police, they are civilians who are also regulated through the government, who defend and protect us, and they have the right to own guns, but other regular everyday citizens can be subject to more regulation, to more laws restricting them from owning some guns. Others argue no, the words are very clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, and that this law protects all Americans' right to own any firearm. So what I'd like you to do is reread and then reword the Second Amendment. And tell me in your own words, in 2015 ease, what does this mean? And then you'll be done with your first question. When you're all finished, stop the movie and get ready to finish writing and go on to the third question, or the Third Amendment. Sorry about that. Thanks for watching. I'll be talking to you soon.